If you're a Cowboys fan, who are you saying, Jerry, go get?
The name you just said makes it very difficult to go get anybody.
Oh, the name Jerry.
Yeah, listen, man. The damn repetitive record of, are you going to let the man do his job? Like, Ben Johnson doing great. Everybody here, hot commodity. Ben Johnson ain't going to Dallas and tell Jerry what he doing.
Nope.
Aaron Glenn ain't going there. People talk about Bill Belichick and go. No, he's not.
No chance.
This man fired a 2-time Super Bowl winner 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
And then won it again with Barry Switzer, and it validated a terrible move. I think you would have won 5 with Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
What is that coach going to be able to actually do when you name him a head coach?
Now look, at face value, I know everything Marcus Spears just said right there, it sounds correct. It sounds like something that would be a reasonable take. It doesn't actually sound like a hot take at all. It sounds like a freezing cold take, but actually, it's actually just wrong. And I'm going to show y'all exactly why I say it's just wrong. See, Marcus Spears' assertion here that Jerry Jones's mere presence is what's going to run off any premium head coaching candidates from one of the most prestigious coaching jobs in all of sports, because it gives you one of the biggest platforms as a coach. And I'm sorry, if I'm building a career, I'm trying to make sure I'm on the most visible platform possible to showcase my abilities. And on top of that, all the other options, they have their warts too, and some of them are just as bad or maybe even worse than good old Jer. Let's get right into it. As Attack on Cowboys, as I cannot believe I'm about to say this, we're about to defend Jerry Jones on this one from one of his former players. All right, y'all subscribe ahead of time, because the way I'm about to do these mental gymnastics is going to be very, very impressive. But I always come with the actual facts. And the actual facts state that there's maybe only one other job that's going to be open this head coaching cycle that's actually more attractive than the Dallas Cowboys job, and that's only because of the level of stability that organization has. Now, let's take a look at some of the head coaches who may lose their jobs this offseason, or on Black Monday, as they call it, the Monday after the last games are played on Sunday. Let's take a look at all the head coach openings that may come open across the league, and you'll come to find out, man, that, hey, Jerry is bad. As Cowboys fans, Jerry is bad. He has his ways, he has his arrogance, and some of what Marcus Spears was saying was absolutely true, man. He had a bad decision validated by the fact that he won a Super Bowl with Barry Switzer. You should have never got rid of Jimmy Johnson. That's probably why the franchise in the state is in right now, as far as never being able to attain that ultimate goal again. So part of what Marcus Spears was saying was true, but I'm just going to say this, we're exaggerating just how unattractive the Cowboys job actually is. But let's get right into this, because I know y'all like, all right, I want to see how you're going to do this one. All right, Gerard Mayo and the New England Patriots. Now, we all know that Gerard Mayo is likely going to be someone that's going to be losing his job this offseason. And look, this would probably be the only head coach opening that a head coach will look at and be like, okay, I think this is a reasonable spot to go to. It has a reasonable ownership group. It seems like it has a decent structure organizationally, and they have a winning culture already, right? They have a winning history. It's a franchise that's waiting to be revitalized, essentially. And let's be honest, right now, it's in a winnable division. I mean, the Bills, they're no powerhouse per se. They're a really good football team, but they're no powerhouse that's going to be perennially at the top of that division. All it takes is a quick 1 or 2 year turnaround, and I could see someone coming in and being able to take over that division from the Buffalo Bills. But you have the New England Patriots. That would be a good job opening right there. I could see a Ben Johnson looking at one of those type of jobs before he looked at something like the Cowboys, right? But I will say this, I don't see Ben Johnson just taking a job before even interviewing or discussing the Cowboys job, if it is open, if they do decide to move on from Mike McCarthy. Because again, all of this is with a grain of salt, because it's all pending upon whether or not Mike McCarthy is brought back. But I can see the Patriots job being attractive over the Cowboys job. All right, got Mike McCarthy and Dallas Cowboys. That's another one. Antonio Pierce and the Las Vegas Raiders. What have the Raiders done pretty much since Al Davis's prime, essentially, man? What have the Raiders done to make anybody have any kind of trust or any hope that that franchise is going to do the things they need them to do in order to really turn that thing around? What do they have in place that would be attractive to a head coach coming to that team? They have no real number one receiving weapon. They have a good tight end, a great tight end in Brock Bowers. They have a great defensive end in Max Crosby. Outside of that, they have no quarterback. They have really nothing else in place over there with the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's not the best organization as far as like organizational identity and structure and stuff. I don't see that being a more attractive job than a Dallas Cowboys job. There's no reason for it to be, especially since the Raiders aren't just chock loaded with all pros every year. It's not like they're proven to go out and get more talent than the Cowboys get on their teams every year and things. So there's really nothing outside of public opinion that would put the Raiders job, as far as someone that's looking at a job endeavor that they're going to take, man, a career opportunity they're going to take. There's nothing that would make the Raiders job more attractive than the Cowboys job. Even with Jerry Jones's BS. Brian Daboll and the New York Giants, do you really want to go to that heaping hot mess of the New York Giants? If you're Ben Johnson, do you really want to go somewhere where they don't value perennial all-pro type running backs like a Saquon Barkley and they're willing to give those guys up? You think Ben Johnson would be happy if the Detroit Lions organization just gave away Jahmyr Gibbs and was like, oh, you can go away, we don't really need you? Do you think that Ben Johnson would be happy going to an organization that's always struggled accumulating weapons all at one time along with a good offensive line? Do you think he really wants to go to the Giants, man, where players don't even like playing in that stadium because the damn turf injures them all the time? Do you really think that Ben Johnson would want to go to the Giants over the Cowboys? No. The Giants ownership group, their organizational structure, their GM, all that stuff, none of that stuff is in better shape than the Cowboys. I hate to break it to y'all Cowboys fans. Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tony Khan. That's all I got to say about that. I don't know if y'all know about Tony Khan and the ownership group of the Jaguars, but those guys are a bigger joke than Jones family is. At least the Jones family actually like football and they take it seriously. The Jaguars are nothing more than a pastime for a family that essentially made all of their money off of a automobile patent, and they have money just being printed. So they just go out and buy different endeavors for fun, just to keep people busy within the family. And one of the most incompetent business folks in the world right now is one of the lead dogs in the Jacksonville Jaguars organization with Tony Khan, man. So do you think that's a better situation than the Dallas Cowboys? For real? The Chicago Bears is another job that's already open right now. Do you think dealing with the McCaskies, and have y'all seen the cesspool that's going on over there in their front office right now? Is that really more attractive than Jerry Jones is peeking his head in business a little bit too often? Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, look at these other organizations that have all these issues. The New York Jets. Do you think that Ben Johnson would want to go somewhere where the owner is literally allowing his grandchildren to pick players and stuff based off of Madden ratings and what they read on Twitter, man? Do you really think that he want to go somewhere where they're going to veto a Jerry Jeudy trade because the grandkid of the owner said, no, somebody on Twitter said he sucked or his Madden rating too low? Do you want to go there? At least the Joneses ain't doing that. And I can't believe I'm sitting here Ouch! I can't believe I'm sitting here defending the Joneses. I have to slap myself. We ain't gonna make no habit of this, man. I can't believe I'm sitting here defending the Joneses, but here I am. My black ass is sitting here defending the Joneses, man. Go figure, bro. But this is the facts. The rest of these jobs that are coming open, man, they're from failing organizations. At least the Cowboys organization is one that's attractive failing organization. The rest of these organizations, there's no benefit outside of drama. You want to go to the Colts with Shane Steichen Lee? You want to go to the Colts with the pill-popping owner they got over there with Jim Irsay, with Pat McAfee going off on these dudes every other day on TV? You want to go to the Colts where they got all this drama going on over there, man? When dudes don't show up to team meetings and you got all this stuff going. You want to go to the Colts, man? They don't even honor their old legends and stuff. They have no ties to any of their old players. Peyton Manning and Pat McAfee, all these other dudes, Marvin here, all these other dudes, man. You want to go to the Colts, man? You see what I'm saying? Like, look at all of the other job openings that's likely going to be open in the NFL. And the Cowboys, where do they stand? Still at the top of the pile. Let's be real. So Jerry there or not, there's other owners in the league that just because we're Cowboys fans, we're kind of stuck in this vacuum that we're not paying attention to, that are much more ridiculous than Jerry Jones, or just much more eccentric than Jerry Jones, or more lackadaisical, and they don't care. Jerry might care too much. It's a lot of owners in the league that just don't care, and they let their organization just do whatever, and it just goes to hell in a handbasket. Is that where you want to go if you're a coach, man? So you see what I'm saying? So the Cowboys job ain't as unattractive as y'all think. And actually, someone dropped a kind of a statistic earlier, RJ Ochoa, in an attempt to actually make it seem like the Cowboys are going to drag their feet with this. Now, we now know that the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy's contract expires on January 14th. This is new information that has now been confirmed. This image was posted earlier today, and what it actually demonstrates is the Cowboys, even though they were the last to interview Mike McCarthy, they were actually the first to make a hire in that hiring cycle as far as the teams that waited to fire their coaches after the season was over. They were the first to make a hire in that hiring cycle. As far as the teams that started on even playing field, they hired their coach before the Browns. They hired their coach before the Giants. So what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? So maybe this isn't as all doom and gloom as we may think. And maybe Cowboys fans actually do have a little bit more something to be excited about if this Mike McCarthy thing doesn't play out and you're worried about them maybe not throwing their hat in the ring early enough. The end of the day, if you look at this timeline and how it played out, Sunday, December 29th, the season ends for the Browns, Giants, and Cowboys. Sunday, December 29th, 2019, Browns fire head coach Freddie Kitchens. Yes, they fired him the same day. Monday, December 30th, Giants fire head coach Pat Shurmur. Thursday, January 2nd, a few days later, Browns interview Mike McCarthy for head coach opening. Saturday, January 4th, 2020, Giants interview Mike McCarthy for head coach opening. Saturday, January 4th, 2020. It is reported that Marvin Lewis and Mike McCarthy would interview for the Cowboys job. Sunday, January 5th, Cowboys finally announced that they are not bringing back Jason Garrett. So they waited to fire their coach after other teams had already interviewed these guys, right? Why didn't any of those guys take those jobs yet? Why did those guys wait until the Cowboys actually decided on who they were going to hire before the rest of those chips fell? Because as you can see, after the Cowboys finally announced that they weren't going to bring back Jason Garrett, guess how long it took them to actually bring in the next coach? 2 days. Tuesday, January 7th, 2020, Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy as head coach. After that, a day later, that's when the Giants hired Joe Judge as their head coach. After that, 4 days later, that's when the Browns finally hired Kevin Stefanski as their head coach. So guess what? The Cowboys actually made a quicker hire in that cycle than most people would have thought. The season wasn't even all the way over for some of these teams yet, and the Cowboys had already named their new head coach. So guess what? We are not nearly as in bad of shape as you may be led to believe by all the doom and gloom and all the negative speak about Jerry. I know it's the popular thing to do, but the facts are the facts, man. And the Cowboys are still one of the best jobs in the NFL. And last time they were in this situation, even with a coach that had been here for, it seemed like, way too long with Jason Garrett and had close personal ties with the organization, they still made a quick and concise decision after they finally did let him know that he would not be returning. And I think that's just kind of how that's going to play out again if that's the situation here. Mike McCarthy is going to be gone, and the Cowboys are still going to be one of the first teams that make a huge domino fall. Even if it's not the Ben Johnson domino, they're going to be one of the first teams that make a huge domino fall before the rest of these vacancies start getting filled, because these coaches are going to want to see if they can get that Cowboys job. I don't care what y'all say with the pieces on this team, with the status that the Cowboys job brings. It's still one of the most highest grossing franchises in the entire world, bro. With the status that brings, people are still going to want this job. And that's it. And at the end of the day, we stay them same old Cowboys. Respectfully, Mark.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.